Okay, welcome everyone. I think we are live, and what we're going to be doing is going over some of the coding mindset course. So this is going to be a live stream, and I'm going to do it live. I have a lot of slides to get through, but I think it's going to be awesome, and we're going to do our best. So if you're on TikTok, go to YouTube, watch the live stream there, and you can see the slides coming. The slides. The description, like for where my YouTube is in the link in my TikTok. But let's get to the content right now. So have a look at the slides. This is coding psychology, and what we're gonna do is just go over this course. So the first thing you should realize here, as it says, coding is just not just logic, but sometimes it is about the emotional endurance. That is especially true now these days because we've got tools like AI and ChatGPT. And what the role we have as human beings now is that we have to become the sort of glue. We have to sort of put problems, like chunk problems up into manageable chunk sizes, and then make sure AI can solve each of those individual problems. And then later on, we become the glue that sort of glues everything together. But this can get quite exhausting, and honestly, half the game is making these sub problems, but the other half is also having sort of the endurance up in your head to actually follow through all the way to the end. And honestly, just seeing lots of things around in the coding space, people just give up because they're not smart enough. They are smart enough, or if you're not smart enough, you just put that in an AI prompt. It's just people get tired, or people just have negative self-talk or head trash. I did a cool webinar on head trash and how to avoid all that stuff. So yeah, so let's go through the slides and let's get through this very first section. So what I want you to really think about, right, is when you're coding something, or it doesn't have to be coding, it could be like a math problem or something like that. It's frustration tolerance. Okay, so write this down, frustration tolerance. In your journal, so make sure, in the prereqs of the course, make sure you had a journal. So here, look at the slides and write all these points down. So frustration tolerance, right? It's not intelligence these days. It might have been intelligence like 10, 15 years ago before ChatGPT, but these days it's all about frustration tolerance. That is absolutely key. Just sticking through to what you need to get done and getting it done. And then success when you're coding something is going to be emotional resilience plus iterative learning if you are not an expert in something, which more than likely you're probably not the world expert or expert at something, right? Maybe you are, but you still need the emotional resilience. Okay, so does that make sense for everyone? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up, something you're paying attention. I'd love to know. Any questions so far before we can move on? Okay, cool. Cool. Yes, hi. Oscar Main says hi. Thank you. I appreciate your comments. Okay, and the last point on that slide there is treat emotions like errors, not flaws. That's so important because you can think of learning. So you can think of like losses in a few ways. You can think of them as just like a pure loss, or you can think of it as feedback the universe is giving you. So you can make tweaks, and next time you do whatever you need to do, so you can like just win. You just win. So write all those 3 points I just said in your little notebook here. Now this is part of a broader course what we're doing. So write this down. So just real quick, someone in the chat just repeat what are the 3 points I just said? What are the 3 points I just said? It's on the slides. If I'll give it 10 seconds and then I'll move on to the next slide. Does anyone have any questions in the meantime as well? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And okay, we're going to the next slide. Okay, so I want to talk about why most people quit. Now, this is not just coding. It's like why most people quit university degrees, or they maybe quit doing a math problem, or they want to be a champion at something, but they just sort of give up halfway. And this is exactly what I said at the start of the presentation, and I'm happy to die on this hill here. I really think this is the case. It's actually, can anyone guess what I'm about to say? Okay, the hill I'm gonna die on is that it's not about intelligence. Especially today, it's never about intelligence. I keep saying this, but I want to drill this in your head. It's not about intelligence, because intelligence can be outsourced very, very cheaply, even freely on like free ChatGPT versions, right? Intelligence can completely be outsourced. It's about managing how frustrated you get when you can't solve something and persisting through. It's about sitting in your seat, being uncomfortable that the problem hasn't been solved yet, but knowing that you're going to solve it very soon. So that is a very important point, very noteworthy. Journal that. So, has anyone got examples of things where they persisted, frustration tolerance, or stuff like that? I'll give you an example. So when I was back in university, I actually did math, and I was a terrible coder. Actually, I'm teaching coding now because I feel like teachers who enjoy what they teach, they used to struggle with whatever they're teaching, and then now they want to help people find ways to win at whatever they struggled with in the past. And that's me with coding, right? So I remember I failed my coding statistics thing, and I was like, I was so frustrated, but I just had to sit with it and persist. And I'm so glad I persisted, because a semester later, I discovered that I am way better than coding than mathematics, and my career just went into the realm of coding, which was, I don't know, it was, I'm just so glad I failed at that, but also I stuck through it, and I just maintained, like, frustration levels were like here, but I had the emotional maturity to be like, okay, I know how I'm feeling, it's fine, I'll get through it. Cool. So what we're gonna do is talk about this formula, right? This success formula. There's many success formulas, right? And I'm no guru, but I thought of this, I thought about it, and if you want to be successful at something, I think this is what it comes down to. It's just an equation with two variables: emotional resilience and iterative learning. So say, it's good coffee. So say you're not the best at something in the world. You probably can, like, you need to learn. You need to learn. And the best way to learn is you learn one concept, and then you take that stuff and then you put it in the real world and you apply whatever you learn. This is purely anecdotal. If I learn too much at a time, I get overwhelmed and then I end up forgetting things. So what you need to do is you need to take chunk-sized stuff, and then you take that concept and then apply it into the real world. You actually solve practical problems. So for example, I'll give you one that's not related to coding. I am a dancer in my other life. To de-stress from all the coding, I dance, I do salsa. And every lesson, every salsa lesson I go to, I learn a new salsa move. It's pretty cool. But sometimes what you do, you go to every single lesson every week, you learn like maybe 8 different salsa moves or something like that. And so you can get pretty overwhelmed because, by the end of the month, you've probably learned, who knows, like 100 different salsa moves. So the key to getting good is you pick like a group of 4. You just pick a group of 4, and then you master those, you practice those, and then once it's sort of in your long-term memory, you can move on to the next chunk of 4. And that actually I found really works for me quite well. So I just focus on those 4, and then I go to like a social, and then I practice only those 4 moves. And then once I've mastered that, go to the next one. Okay, and so obviously the emotional intelligence part of it. So what do I mean by like the emotional intelligence? So what that means is that you can you see other people's emotions, or you sort of see your own emotions, or you see yourself learning a concept, and then you can go step back, third person, and be like, oh, how am I feeling when I learn this kind of thing, right? How am I feeling when I learn this kind of thing? And then what that allows you to do is know your weaknesses. Essentially, you know your weaknesses. So, for example, I am a transcended. Good to see you. So I am I'm not the fastest reader, right? I'm not the fastest reader. So when I have books, I have a bunch of coding books here. But I realize that I can learn 10 times faster if I get an audiobook version or like a PDF reader or something like that. I can just speed through it. I sort of, maybe it's an ego thing or whatever. I just accepted I'm not a fast reader. So I found a way to learn things quicker. Quicker. I'm not sure it does it stretch, but I appreciate the comment. Yeah, to learn things like quicker. So for example, maybe you're a visual learner, you need to draw more diagrams or something like that. So you need to come up with your own methods, and then also you need to track your progress. And then sort of when you track your progress, plus you can see like what's working, what's not working. So it's just kind of like knowing yourself and what works best for you. So I think emotional intelligence or resilience, the resilience part is just being like, okay, keeping track of your mind and being like, okay, I can actually get through this whole problem. Staying strong and finding what works best for you, I think. I think that is the essence of it. And then the iterative learning, which is breaking stuff into steps, and then mastering each of those steps and then applying that in the real world. Once you've mastered that thing, whatever, you go on to the next thing and master the next step, and then you keep doing that. Okay, cool. Next slide. Let's go to the next slide. So, reframe your emotions, right? So this is particularly when you are you've lost, like you're in the losing part of whatever you're doing, right? So maybe you're trying to, okay, here's a good one. So imagine you're coding and then you try to compile your code, but it doesn't compile, right? It doesn't compile. So this is an error, and you look at the feedback that is given to you, right? You look at the feedback that's given to you from the computer, and it's like, oh, maybe there was a syntax error, or maybe there was some sort of like semantic error, or maybe there was a bracket somewhere, or maybe there was a buffer overflow or something like that. And you look at the error and you adjust, right? You adjust and you fix it. So it's kind of a reframe. It's not like the computer is calling you a loser. It's just telling you what's wrong. So that's pretty obvious, right? Like when you code. But maybe if you're dealing with some sort of mathematical problem or something at work, right? And you don't make a spreadsheet that is not quite up to standard or something, and your boss is like, this doesn't look particularly good. You need to make sure you don't feel like you're getting attacked, because you, like, even if you are getting attacked, it's better to be in the camp of like, how can I extract the value out of their criticism and then improve whatever I need to improve on my side. I feel like there is no point in focusing on someone's negativity. What you need to do is just be objective, emotionless about it, right? And be like, okay, they may be giving me some hate. But within the hate they are giving me, can I find the diamonds in the hate? Like, what am I actually doing wrong? And all you need to do is focus on that. So that's just a little bit of a reframe, there, a bit of a, what do you call it? A little bit of a mental jujitsu there. And just focus on that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go to the next slide. Exercise. Okay, so we're going to, okay, so in your journal, get your journal out, and then in your journal, I want you to write down what makes you feel most frustrated while you're coding, or if you're a mathematician or something like that. Tell me, whatever task you do in your profession, what makes you feel frustrated and what triggers you to feel frustrated or boring. Is it the lack of progress? You're not seeing wins or something like that. So that's the exercise. And then once you sort of write that down, maybe next time you come across something like this, you'll be able to stop it quickly, and hopefully it won't happen. Okay, I believe that is the end. And then there's just an Einstein quote. Cool. So this was the first lesson in coding mindset. So yeah, and that's it. And then we'll move on to the next lesson. So thank you guys. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.